For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description. Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the new Arrow Video 3-disc limited edition Blu-ray release for Wes Craven's The Last House on the Left. Now, this is mostly going to be a review of this Blu-ray set. I did a full review of the film a few years ago. I think I pretty much covered all the bases as far as what my thoughts are on the film in that review, so I'll post a link to that review in the description. Go over and check it out. And because this release is just absolutely chock full of content. This thing is loaded. So to do a full review of the movie and then dive into this release, it could be a 30+ minute video. So just briefly, I'll talk about Last House on the Left. I wouldn't necessarily classify myself as a fan of the film. I do believe in my review that I posted several years ago, I said that that Last House on the Left's reputation sort of exceeds the movie. I don't think Last House on the Left is a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's the kind of movie. Is it the kind of movie that anybody likes? It's certainly not the kind of movie that you put on and watch with company. It's certainly not the kind of movie that you watch on a lazy Sunday and you've got a couple of hours to kill and you're like, hey, I think I'll pop in Last House on the Left. However, there's something just undeniable about the ferocity of this movie, about how visceral this film is, about how unrelenting it is when it comes to the violence. And the thing that I took away from the movie, watching it this time on this release, is how the movie juxtaposes the raw, ferocious violence with these really lighthearted and comedic moments in the film that have always just felt so out of place to me when watching Last House on the Left in the past. The two bumbling cops, you know what I mean? The assaults on the girls in the woods while while Mary's parents are preparing her birthday at their house. They're making the cake, they're decorating the house, etc., etc. Those things juxtaposed to the violence, the extreme violence in the film, which even by today's standards, this is a pretty graphic movie. And that's saying a lot for a movie that was made in, this was made in what, 72 or something like that? So for a film made all the way back then to still be kind of shocking today, is really saying something for this movie. But I always thought that juxtaposing the violence to, you know, the bumbling cops or to the parents preparing Mary's birthday just really kind of felt, particularly in the case of the bumbling cops, just felt really out of place. But in a weird way, it felt like those moments actually grounded the movie. And while you're watching these acts of extreme violence, cutting to those scenes reminds you that, I don't know, it sort of shows you both sides of the human, I don't know, of the human animal, I guess you could say. And I don't know, that was something that really affected me this time while watching Last House on the Left. It's not a pleasurable movie to watch. It's not a pleasant movie to watch. I can't say I'm a big fan of the movie. I do respect the film. I think it is deserving of its status as a classic for sort of how groundbreaking it was as far as, you know, depictions of violence on film and how just unrelenting it was, and really the fact that the movie was made by these, you know, sort of novice filmmakers, the fact that they tried to make it look like a documentary to mirror the newsreel footage that everyone was seeing of the Vietnam War and how graphically violent that was. And then of course you cut to like a McDonald's commercial. You know, that, you know, what would have been a detriment to the film actually works for it. You know, it's a very sort of raw, atavistic movie as far as from a filmmaking point of view, but that actually makes the movie feel more real, makes the movie feel almost like you're watching a documentary, at least when it comes to the very violent moments in the film. So yeah, again, not a big fan of Last House on the Left. I do respect its, you know, its legacy, I guess you could say. I would consider it a classic, but it's definitely not the kind of movie that it's not everybody's cup of tea, and it's not going to be the kind of movie that you're going to reach and pull off your shelves on a regular basis. You know, like I said, on that lazy Sunday afternoon, or if you're wanting to entertain guests, or if you wanted to get rid of those guests, Last House on the Left would be a great way to get rid of them. I'm sure. Pop it in, and pretty soon they're going to be gone. But this Blu-ray release from Arrow Video is absolutely fantastic. This is a loaded, beautiful, just a phenomenal release from Arrow Video. Arrow Video really rolled out the red carpet for Last House on the Left with this Blu-ray release. It all comes inside this very thick, very just hardcore cardboard sleeve or case or whatever you want to call it. As far as the picture quality and the sound quality on this release, it's a 2K transfer of the film. We get 3 different cuts of the movie. We get the R-rated cut, we get the unrated cut, and we get the Krug and Company cut of the film. I actually watched the Krug and Company cut of the film, and it looked absolutely fantastic. I've seen Last House on the Left on VHS and on DVD. This is the best Last House on the Left has ever looked, or probably will ever look. There are a few rough spots here and there, but overall this thing looked and sounded absolutely fantastic. On a scale out of 5, as far as the picture quality is concerned, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5. The sound quality, again, a 4 out of 5. Arrow Video did a fantastic job with the restoration of The Last House on the Left in 2K. Again, everything comes inside this very nice, hard cardboard sleeve or case. Inside we have the Blu-rays. There is disc 1 and disc 2. The third disc is the CD with the soundtrack. The sleeve is reversible, and on the reverse we have the original poster art for the film. We also have a limited edition 60-page perfect bound book featuring new writing on the film by author Stephen Thrower. The book also includes some very nice full-color images and stills from the film, as you can see there. Some very nice images. Very nice addition to this set. We also get a reversible poster. On one side we have the newly commissioned artwork for the film, as you can see there. Some very nice artwork indeed. And on the reverse we have the original poster art design for The Last House on the left, featuring the iconic ad campaign to avoid fainting, keep repeating, "It's only a movie. It's only a movie. It's only a movie. It's only a movie." This set also includes 6 collectible postcards. As far as extras are concerned, on disc 1, which houses the unrated cut of the film, we get Still Standing, the legacy of The Last House on the left. It's 14 minutes and 54 seconds in length. It is a 2009 interview with writer-director Wes Craven. Mr. Craven discusses the writing process of the film and not being fully aware of how shocking it was until they were actually filming it. He discusses how the Vietnam War and its coverage on the news, as well as his upbringing as a fundamentalist Christian, were the biggest influences on the the film. He discusses audience reactions to Last House on the Left, such as people running out of the theater, people throwing up, people trying to break into the projection room in order to stop the film. Mr. Craven discusses that the film allowed him to be a bad for the first time in his life, and how he had disconnected himself from his own morals while directing the film. He also discusses the Last House remake during this interview. Very nice interview with Mr. Craven, the late, great Mr. Craven. Next up, we have Celluloid Crime of the Century. It's 39 minutes and 34 seconds in length. It's a 2002 documentary featuring interviews with Wes Craven, Sean S. Cunningham, David Hess, Fred Lincoln, Jeremy Rain, Mark Scheffler, and Martin Cove. Craven and Cunningham discuss the inception of Last House. Craven discusses the screenwriting process and his desire to break every boundary with both the violence and sexuality with the film. Lincoln, Rain, Scheffler, Cove, and Hess each discuss getting cast in the film and their characters. Craven and Cunningham discuss wanting to shoot the film as if it were a documentary. The cast discuss bonding on the set and what a wild man David Hess was. Craven and Cunningham discuss the title being The Last House on the Left being the third title for the film, but it was that title that screened the best, along with that famous ad campaign of "It's only a movie, it's only a movie, it's only a movie." They discuss the box office success of the film and the controversy that followed it, leading to the film being heavily cut and outright banned in both England and Australia. Very nice, very informative making of featurette there for The Last House on the Left. Next up, we have Scoring Last House. It's 9 minutes and 44 seconds in length. It's a 2002 interview with actor-composer David Hess. Mr. Hess discusses learning to play the guitar at age 10 and performing for his family and friends, eventually getting signed to a management contract which led to him writing songs for Andy Williams, Pat Boone, and Elvis Presley. He discusses getting hired to act and compose the music for Last House. Hess plays some of the music and explains his thought process when writing the music for the film. A very nice interview with the late, great David Hess. Next up, we have It's Only a Movie, the making of The Last House on the Left. It's 29 minutes and 1 second in length. It's a 2002 making of featurette, which includes interviews with Wes Craven, Sean Cunningham, Fred Lincoln, David Hess, Mark Scheffler, Lucy Grantham, Martin Cove, and Steve Miner, among others. Mr. Craven discusses meeting Sean Cunningham. Cunningham and Craven discuss how they got the funding to make the movie. Craven discusses the film being inspired by Bergman's The Virgin Spring. The actors discuss getting cast in the film. Craven discusses shooting the film in Cunningham's mother's backyard and in her house. Steve Miner discusses being hired on as an assistant for the film. They discuss improvising a lot, particularly when it came to the deaths of Krug and his gang. Cunningham discusses marketing the film and how the title for the film and the It's Only a Movie ad campaign came about. They discuss the film's success and the controversy that followed it. Very nice, informative making of documentary for the film. Next up, we have Forbidden Footage. It's 8 minutes and 12 seconds in length. The cast and crew of Last House on the Left discuss the film's most controversial sequences. Cunningham and Lucy Grantham discuss the scene in which one of the girls is forced to urinate on herself. Grantham recalls that there was no special effect during that scene and that she really just urinated on herself. Steve Miner discusses the various versions of the movie that are out there, some bloodier than others. He and Craven discuss the disemboweling scene and how that was pulled off and how sick it made all the cast and crew feel. Fred Lincoln discusses the scene in which his character's manhood is bitten off and how that was achieved. Very nice featurette there. Next up, we get Junior's story. It's a 2017 interview with Mark Scheffler. It's 14 minutes and 24 seconds in length. Mr. Scheffler discusses auditioning for Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham and getting cast to play Junior in the film. Mr. Scheffler discusses how Fred Lincoln acted as shadow director on Last House because he had more experience than anyone else on the set. He discusses meeting and becoming fast friends with David Hess and how Hess took the method approach to playing Krug to all new levels, much to most people's chagrin on the set. He describes Hess as a bull in the china shop of life and how he was close with David right up to the time that he died. Very nice interview with Mr. Scheffler. Next up, we have Blood and Guts, a conversation with Ann Paul. It's 13 minutes and 52 seconds in length. It's a 2018 interview with makeup artist Ann Paul. Miss Paul discusses how she got involved in Last House. She discusses auditioning for the film but not getting cast. She told Wes and Sean that she desperately needed a job. They asked her if she had ever done makeup. She lied and said she had, and so she got the gig. She discusses the shoot being like summer camp. She discusses working with Wes Craven and David Hess and the rest of the cast. She discusses how she made the blood for the film, the intestines, and how they pulled off Junior's death. Nice interview with Ms. Paul. We get The Road Goes to Terror, the locations of Last House. It's 5 minutes 48 seconds in length. It's a tour of the shooting locations for Last House by film journalist Michael Gingold. Next up, we have a deleted scene, of Mary dying at the lake from the rare Krug and Company cut of the film in which Mary's parents find her by the lake. It's 1 minute and 4 seconds in length. We get 47 minutes and 38 seconds of outtakes and dailies. We get trailers, TV and radio spots, an image gallery, and an isolated score. We also get 3 different commentaries. We get an audio commentary with Bill Ackerman and Amanda Reyes. We get an audio commentary with Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham. And we get an audio commentary with David Hess, Mark Scheffler, and Fred Lincoln. I listened to about 20 minutes of the commentary with Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham. Very entertaining, very fun commentary, at least for the 20 or so minutes that I listened to. On disc 2, which includes the Krug and Company cut of the film, as well as the R-rated cut of the film, we have the Craven Touch. It's 17 minutes and 10 seconds in length. It's a brand new featurette with interviews from a number of Craven's collaborators, including Sean Cunningham, Charles Bernstein, Peter Locke, Mark Irwin, and Amanda Weiss. Cunningham discusses how Craven kept a dream journal and jotted down his dreams and turned many of those into films. He discusses the first time he met Wes and working with him to make Last House and how they wanted to make the violence in the film very personal. Peter Locke discusses working with Craven on The Hills Have Eyes. Charles Bernstein discusses meeting Craven and how easy he was to work with and getting along with, or how easy he was to work with and to get along with, and what a wonderful sense of sound design he had. Mark Irwin discusses Craven as the most measured, calm person he'd ever worked with. Cunningham discusses how Craven was boxed in as a horror movie director when he wanted to do much more and tell other stories and direct other kinds of movies. Very nice tribute to the late great Wes Craven. Next up, we have Early Days and Night of Vengeance. It's 9 minutes and 4 seconds in length. Filmmaker Roy Frumkes remembers Wes Craven and Last House on the left. Mr. Frumkes recalls first seeing Last House, liking the film, and deciding to write Wes Craven and tell him how much of a fan he was of Last House on the left. And 2 weeks later, Craven actually sent him a box with the heavily annotated script inside. And he still, of course, or the annotated scripts, the different drafts of the script, and he still has those. How freaking cool is that? He discusses remaining friends with Craven throughout the years. He discusses an anthology that he was working on with Wes Craven and David Hess that was never finished. Mr. Frumkes discusses how Craven told him that he was never allowed to make a film like Last House again while working inside the Hollywood system. Very nice interview with Mr. Frumkes. Next up, we have Tales That Will Tear Your Heart Out. It's 11 minutes and 19 seconds in length. It's actually the footage from the unfinished anthology film directed by Wes Craven and produced by Roy Frumkes. Next up, we have a Q&A with Mark Scheffler at a screening for Last House on the Left in Los Angeles from 2017. It's 12 minutes and 25 seconds in length. Mr. Scheffler discusses getting cast in Last House. He discusses becoming close friends with David Hess on the set. He discusses working with both Sean Cunningham and Wes Craven, and he says that working on Last House was like going to summer camp. Very nice Q&A with Mr. Scheffler. Next up, we have Songs in the Key of Krug. It's 9 minutes and 41 seconds in length. It's never before seen footage from an archival interview with David Hess. Mr. Hess discusses his early career as a singer and songwriter before becoming an actor. He discusses composing bluesy music for Last House on the Left that would contrast with the violence in the film. He discusses being hired by the Boston backers who financed not only Last House but also Friday the 13th to write a screenplay for them. He was paid very well to do it. He was flown out to Val d'Isere, all expenses paid, a lot of money. He wrote the script but ended up losing it. So all that was for naught, but he still got paid very well, and he still got an all expenses paid a vacation out of it. So very nice interview with Mr. Hess. Next up, we have Krug Conquers England. It's 24 minutes and 12 seconds in length. It's an archival documentary covering the UK's first ever screening of the uncut Last House on the Left. It features footage of David Hess signing autographs and performing music. Mr. Hess and others discuss how the film was banned in the UK and how strict the BBFC was toward films like Last House on the Left and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and what the process that they went through in order to get the film an 18 certification so that it could be publicly played in England. This is a loaded, absolutely beautiful release from Arrow Video for Last House on the Left. If you're a fan of this movie, you definitely want to look into picking up this set and adding it to your collection. It is loaded with extras, 2 discs, 3 different cuts of the movies, a CD with the soundtrack on it, great packaging, a poster, postcards, a limited edition booklet. This thing is just absolutely beautiful. Arrow Video rolled out the red carpet for this release. They gave it a great picture quality, great sound quality. If you're a fan of Last House, this is absolutely a must, in my opinion. I'll put a link to Arrow Video's website in the description. Go over and check them out. Please let me know your guys' thoughts on Last House on the Left down in the comment section below. If you've picked up this set from Arrow, please let me know your thoughts on it also down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons: Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Mitch O'Dell, Craig Farrand, Robert Sobel, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Turi Delamore, Joseph Charlesworth, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, PB Sam 6, Demon Waffles, Tim Williams, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Mr. Bibby 86, and James Welch. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.